Hello, I'm Nick Arundel. I'm the audio director at Rocksteady Studios. The number one skill you need to be a successful audio director is to work hard.
I hope you're doing your best here, Matt. Because I've just had a horrible thought. We could both actually die here tonight.
At the beginning, there's lots of planning, so we never kind of blunder into something. We do an awful lot of planning initially. It's that stage I find the hardest, to be honest. We need to work out what we need to record, what we can do internally, if we need to go somewhere to record something. So initially, there's rather a lot of planning. There's then a production stage where we're actually doing, and that's the bit I really enjoy and kind of shine at, I think. That's when you're working with the levels, you're playing the game, you're seeing recent levels that perhaps have changed, perhaps something new's been added, so perhaps they've taken something away, but that's the bit where you're actually doing. We get to a point, I guess fairly early in production, whereby we have pretty much the full game there. And then there's a process of polish, going back over stuff, finding out that the ideas you had in the planning stage weren't quite right. You then go back, we polish. And then at the end, there's like a long phase of sitting in a dark room with a towel over your head, you know, kind of at the end of it all, just like, wow, it's finished. I collaborate most with the audio department, obviously, the guys, the coders there, the sound designers there. Also the people external to us, so the external composer, the external sound designer. Within the team, I guess it's people like Paul Crocker, the lead narrative designer, the cinematics lead, animation lead. It's all the kind, you know, sound supports every other department. So you work really closely with every other head. If it's VFX or animation or anything, sound supports their idea, right? So yeah, everyone really. There's a process of reviews whereby we make sure during that production phase we're always reviewing what we've done. We never just do something and assume it's working in game. And often, you know, you'll find with that planning stage that what you thought would work, in reality, it's not actually such a great idea after all. So then you need to think on your feet and quickly get another solution. You know, sound often provides, certainly in a game like Arkham City, and what we try to do, is provide a kind of two things, like a real interpretation of the world. So if you open a door, it makes a door opening sound. So that you're fleshing out the believability of the world. But I think in a way that's the easy thing. Really what we try and do with the sound is have a kind of a subtext, so we provide something about that door. So perhaps what's on the other side of the door. So the door opening sound doesn't just tell you that you're opening a door, which it needs to do, right? But it also tells you something about what's on the other side of the door.
Order! Order!
What the? He's got a gun!
That's more like it.
Taking out the thug with the gun is the key. Without him, the rest of the room won't be a problem.
Fresh faces for the game.
The tools we mostly use at Rocksteady in the audio department, it's different for different things. We have a fairly standard third-party bit of middleware called WWise, which is our kind of interface to getting sounds into the game. All the asset creation is done in Pro Tools, unless it's composition, and then we do that in Logic. Certainly at the beginning, we spend a long time researching different areas, so we'll get early concept art from the artists. They'll say, we want to build a city, you know, a torture chamber, any of the various dungeons in Arkham City, and then we'll have to find somewhere appropriate to record for that. So we spent a lot of time researching various places. We recorded in a cave system. We did some location recording at a museum for fairground attractions to support the Joker-fied steel mill area. We recorded in a steel mill. Initially, we do an awful lot of research into locations that we can get access to record that will hopefully provide us with the sounds we need. So I guess since I started in the industry, the role hasn't really changed tremendously. What has changed are people's abilities, certainly from home, to create much more believable demos, the the progress in digital music. Certainly when I first started, the kind of features we've got now, even something as kind of common day as time stretching or pitch shifting, that just wasn't really an option. Certainly not with the computers we had then. Now you can buy for a relatively small amount all the equipment you need to produce quite an amazing demo. So I guess really what's happened is the role hasn't changed that much. You're still, I would hope, you're still directing people kind of on both a creative and a kind of realistic level. But what has changed is the tools that we use have just become so much more sophisticated.